What's your number one responsibility toward us, ma'am?
One of the mandate of the department, the Department of the Interior and Local Government, is to assist the President in the supervisions over the local government units. Kasama po ang barangay doon, ano? And the SB, meron po kayong kanya-kanyang roles and function, the legislative, the executive, the barangay, and the SB po, barangay officials. And being the representative of the President in the local government unit, we will assist the President in the supervision po when it comes to the implementations of the policies, guidelines, programs, and mga batas po natin.
An additional clarification, Mr. Presiding Officer, sa regards the mandate of the DILG. Our local government operating officer said earlier that their mandate is to assist the President in supervising the local governments. So you'd like to know what is the operational definition of supervision in local governments po. Thank you, Ms. Rhea.
Apo, supervision po, yun po yung mga tinitignan po namin lahat kung na-implement or nagagawa ng isang local officials, the local chief executive, the local government officials in the performance of their duties and functions. Doon po, sa amin din po pinapadaan ng ating Presidente ang gusto niyang ipagawa sa local government units. So, sa governance po, pinapa-supervise po niya ni President, governance, administrations po, and as well sa mga finance po natin, sa operations, the disaster, the performance of the LGUs, including the health services, the social services. And as well, meron pa po ngayon, meron din pong bago ngayon sa President's Office po, the 888. We conducted also fact-finding investigations sa mga elected officials, including the barangays. Yan po isa sa pinapagawa or pinapagawa sa amin ng ating Presidente. We conducted fact-finding investigations for the complaints from the elected officials down to the barangay levels as well as the SB kasama ang ating mga SBs.
Thank you, Ma'am Rhea. Mayroon pa bang katanungan? Follow-up question?
Yes, follow-up question.
Councilor Comac.
Mr. Chair, as regards the result of their supervision, what will be the repercussions, specifically if the observation or supervision is positive or affirmative, and if it's negative? So what will be the repercussions as regards the local government or even the local government officials particularly?
Okay, we have, if it's negative po, it's meron sanctions, it will be from the ombudsman. Pwede din po sa sanggunian, the power po for the sanctions for the administrative cases for the elective officials from barangay po. Nahihear po yan, or ang SP po ang magbibigay ng sanctions sa ating mga barangay officials. Pwede sa ombudsman, we will recommend po sa ombudsman sanctions sa department.
Thank you, Ma'am Rhea. Any other question?
Final question, Mr. Chair.
Councilor Comac.
I think there's a general perception, especially among barangay officials, that the DILG has disciplining power. So maybe our LGO could shed
The
light on
power,
that.
sir, is vested upon the sanggunian when it comes to the disciplining of the barangay officials. But we can recommend to the sangguniang bayan. Pero din po, pwede natin isa lang sanctions sa sangguniang, sa ombudsman.
Thank you, Ma'am Rhea. Since makakasama po natin si Ma'am Rhea for 3 years, magtatagal naman sigurado sa magalang siguro mga ibang questions natin, reserve na lang natin sa kanya. So, kung may ipipresent pa si Ma'am Rhea, kindly.
Wala na pong question. Can I ask question naman
Yes, ma'am.
in my behalf? Sa ating pong mga re-elected councilors, how are the codes na po ng ating LGU? Are they updated? Ma'am Maharlika, SB Secretary, how many codes do we have right now?
With the permission of the presiding officer, our updated codes are: 1, the revenue code; 2 is the
Year
children's
what? What year?
revenue code is 2017.
2017 is okay. Next.
The health and sanitation code is 2014.
2014. Okay ba yan?
The children's code is also 2014.
2014.
The CLUP, it's not a code, but it's a required
Ordinance.
Yes. I think it's 2018.
It's an ordinance.
That is the land use code. And the,
Yes.
mo to eh. The God
Yes,
code,
kaya ko tinanong sa inyo Diyan tayo nagkulang Sangguniang Bayan. Ito ang tututukan, unang ipapaayos at ipapagawa natin sa Sangguniang Bayan. Sabihin natin, SB Secretary, what was that? Kung saan tayo nagkaroon ng lapses during the past years.
I think it's not for me to say that we have lapses, but the revenue code was enacted in 2008 and
2008.
the
The other one,
2009.
Yung hindi tayo naging SCLG passer, what was the
And
code? Sige na, sabihin na natin. So that ang ating counselor, nandito ako, so that makausap na natin ang ating mga counselor para gawin na ulit ang ating God code for the information of the body. Ano po, one of the criteria for the assessment of seal of good local governance, seal of good local governance is pagkilala sa kagalingan at kahusayan ng pamahalaang lokal. Medyo nag-field po tayo no, sa God code kasi outdated na po ang ating God code. It was 2008 pa.
2008.
Who is the committee on
Before
gender and
we
development?
go into the who and the how, let me
I just want to ask who is the
let me
committee on the
just,
chairman?
Is the Mr. Ria, the committee chairman of that?
Mr. Chair, I think
Mr.
we
Coco
must,
Gonzales.
put things into perspective. First is all resolutions and ordinances that emanate from the Sangguniang Bayan should be anchored on the needs of our people and our responsiveness towards what their request, what we need to pass should not be anchored on what the DILG orders the LGU. That is what should be cleared from this day on. It is not the DILG that sets the agenda for Sangguniang Bayan. Rather, it is the Sangguniang Bayan itself. So it was,
Noted po, sir. Noted, councilor.
That should be clear from this
I
day.
just
Maria,
set the directions.
Councilor finish. Councilor Coco.
it is very clear. That's why I asked earlier what's the operational definition of supervision. Because when you say supervision, you just make sure that laws are followed. You are not to say the DILG should not say what the Sangguniang Bayan, much less the whole municipality, should do. It should be very clear from this day. I rise to defend the honor of this chamber. I speak to protect the time-honored principle of parliamentary sovereignty. I stand to preserve the dignity of each and every member of the Sangguniang Bayan who were elected by the people. The deportment of the DILG, MLGOO, Ms. Ria Ramos, in our inaugural session held last July 5, 2019, was wanting of the humor advised by Elizabeth Gasquet. The same struck me as a manifestation of gross insensitivity, lack of understanding as regards the operational meaning of the mandate of the DILG, and complete callousness to the nature of the Sangguniang Bayan. Such conduct should not be allowed to just pass and be forgotten. In my hands is a copy of the Journal of Proceedings of the inaugural session. I take the statements of Ms. Ramos as an affront, disrespect, and insult to this august body and to each and every member of the Sangguniang Bayan. It was a question hour. In the said part of the proceedings, we are supposed to be asking the expertise and guidance of a resource person to make us more effective and efficient in performing our duties and responsibilities as elected officials of this local government. The journal, however, suggests otherwise. Ms. Ramos was no longer guiding. She was already directing. The following are some of her statements. Marami pang pagagawa ang aming department sa local chief executive, sa Sangguniang Bayan, sa mga barangay officials at sa mga department heads. Ipapatawag ko kayo, ikakapacitate. Ikaw na lang ang hindi nagsasubmit. Please submit. The deadline was June 25 to my office. Mr. Chair, the mandate of the DILG is to strengthen local government capability
aimed towards the effective delivery of basic services to the citizenry. Furthermore, the DILG is empowered, among others, to exercise general supervision over local governments, to establish and prescribe rules, regulations, and other implementing laws on the general supervision of local governments and on the promotion of local autonomy and monitor compliance thereof. By said units, provide assistance in the preparation of national legislation affecting local governments, establish and prescribe plans, policies, programs, and projects to strengthen the administrative, technical, fiscal capabilities of local government offices and personnel, and formulate and implement policies, plans, programs, and projects to meet local government emergencies arising from natural and man-made disasters. Mr. Chair, supervision is not control. To supervise is to guide, manage, monitor, while control is to exercise authority over a situation, to direct or to dictate behavior or action. Mr. Chair, in the case of Pimentel versus Aguirre, promulgated on July 2000, the Supreme Court held that the President is vested, represented by the DILG as his alter ego in this case, is vested with the power of supervision, not control. Such power enables him to see to it that LGUs and their officials execute their tasks in accordance with law. While he may issue advisories and seek their cooperation, he cannot prevent them from performing their tasks and using available resources to achieve their goals. He may not withhold or alter any authority or power given to them by law. In another case, Mr. Chair, in the case of Montano versus Silbosa, promulgated on May 30, 1955, the Supreme Court held that in administrative law, supervision means overseeing or the power or authority of an officer to see that subordinate officers perform their duties. If the latter fail or neglect to fulfill them, the former may take such action or step prescribed by law to make them perform their duties. Plainly, Mr. Chair, to supervise is to oversee that things are being done the way they should be done, while control is to set, regulate, or dictate what must be done. That the MLGOO was clearly not supervising. Her actuations obviously showed otherwise. She was controlling. In one of her statements, she said, "Diyan kayo nagkulang sa Sangguniang Bayan. Ito ang tututukan. Una, ipapaayos at ipapagawa sa Sangguniang Bayan. Sabihin mo na, SP Secretary, what was that? Kung saan kayo nagkaroon ng lapses during the past years." As published by the DILG, the core competencies required of a local government operations officer are as follows: commitment to ethical service and good governance, customer focus, ensuring excellent results, organizational sensitivity, which means ability to understand the organization's mandate, structure, and culture, along with the major policies and resources which influence its operations. Their functional competencies are defined to it: effective communication, influence, which means the ability to establish trust, rapport, and credibility with key customers and stakeholders in order to transform key messages and ideas into productive action and secure the support for the actual implementation of programs. Managing knowledge and information, policy research and analysis, program development and management, relationship building, which is the ability to develop partners, network of partners, and actively maintain good relationships with internal and external stakeholders to establish strategic advantages and meet mutual goals. And finally, technical proficiency. Mr. Chair, honorable members of this chamber, ladies and gentlemen, the MLGOO, in her actuations, failed in her measure of competency on organizational sensitivity and failed to perform her functional competency relative to influence and relationship building. To borrow her words, Ms. Ramos, you also have lapses. Mr. Chair, we have limitations. We are not perfect. We acknowledge our shortcomings and weaknesses. However, Mr. Chair, all of these things are to be viewed and evaluated in their proper context. We were elected by the people, and in their honor, we must defend their sovereign will, which they expressed through their votes. It is not the MLGOO which must pass judgment. Definitely not. We must not allow ourselves to be controlled or dictated by anybody. While we respect the way of her appreciation, of her personal appreciation and translation of her duties, she should know her limits. Initially, Mr. Chair, this representation wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. Early on, I thought it was just a result of her misappreciation of her mandate. But her subsequent action showed otherwise. I was given information, Mr. Chair, that the MLGOO sent you a letter last July 10, 2019. And a part of the letter said that you were tasked to submit a list of codes. And relative thereto, she was ordering Your Honor to accomplish the said task and submit it considering a deadline, which is today. It appalls me. Under what authority is the MLGOO ordering the Vice Mayor? Assuming you do not follow her, does she have control? Does she have disciplining power over the Vice Mayor, the Sangguniang Bayan, the LGU for that matter? There is clearly none. Mr. Chair, your actions clearly reeks of utter disregard of the law and arrogance. RE 7160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991, set forth clearly how we, as members of this august body, are to be disciplined and held accountable for our actions. For a non-member of this chamber to call out behavior or performance, much less exact accountability in open session, is detestable. Let it be placed on record, Mr. Chair. From this forward, let me reiterate that it is only the Sangguniang Bayan, through its members in accordance with its approved internal rules and procedures, that will determine the manner and pace by which its action should be done. That is the spirit of local autonomy. That is the essence of parliamentary sovereignty. That is the way it must be. We are not little school children to be scolded or admonished by the assigned MLGOO. We are elected members of our constituencies. As such, Mr. Chair, I submit to the wisdom of the judgment of the members of the Sangguniang Bayan, including the SB Secretary, the ex-officio members of this chamber, our ABC President and SK President, and the respective barangay councils in their barangays and their youth. Should we allow these uncalled for statements of Ms. Ramos, or should we ask for retribution to restore and defend our honor? Parang pumanukulan, pare-pareho tamo mo kung ipos na dareg may malin. Papusten ta akong puwari na yung mayordoma na ng siping bali, mantuan na katamo. Mr. Chair, I move that this privileged speech be referred to an appropriate committee which will be constituted by this chamber later on, and sponsor a resolution denouncing the inappropriate behavior of Ms. Ramos and send the same to Secretary Anyo of the DILG. Thank you very much.